Welcome to Lifestyles with Eric. This is Eric. Sorry for the wait. So let's dive right into it. There was a shooting in Indianapolis, Indiana yesterday evening around 6 p.m. Young man by the name of Sean Reed, 21 years old. Hey, Francis. Sorry about that. 21 years old. Had a Facebook Live his encounter with the Indianapolis IMPD. And we're trying to figure out what's going on. So allegedly, he was driving erratically originally, I guess, on the highway on the northwest side of Indianapolis, and a unmarked police car saw him driving erratically. So I guess he pursued him in a chase, which he eventually got him off the highway and up a street called Michigan Road, Martin Luther King onto, which turns into Michigan Road. And as he was doing that, the young man was filming his Facebook Live, saying that he wasn't going back to jail. Sounded a little, in my experience, again, a little bit. I know about the streets and things like that, and it sounds like to me that he may have been possibly under the influence of something. But now I'm not. Don't quote me on that. I don't know. But irregardless to that, he was Facebook Live and he was laughing. He was talking to people. Eventually, he landed at 62nd and Michigan Road in Indianapolis, where he, I guess, jumped out of the car and was telling whoever he was talking to on Facebook Live to come and pick him up. He was on 62nd and Michigan Road. So as he was running, from the video that I saw, as he was running, you could hear things in the background. I guess you could hear the police in the background. You could hear him running, pacing. I didn't. I don't know if he had a gun or not, but that was what was said after the fact. But what I did hear out of my own ears was the taser noise. So I heard a, and then I heard a boom, 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 boom. Now I didn't count the amount of gunshots that I heard, but from what I was told, there was approximately maybe about 15 to 16 gunshots. Now, my thing is this another case where somebody was running away from the police, and was struck in the back? They did not know he was recording on Facebook Live, is the one thing that I can tell everybody. And that's the one thing that I do know. They did not know he was recording until after the fact. What's going on, George? So, yeah, he was recording. One of the officers said that was stating that they had said, "You're going to need a closed casket, homie," and that's, to me, very unprofessional. As a police officer, we've had several incidents in the last few years where unarmed black men were shot and killed, or shot in the back. A lot of the things are on videotape. A lot of things aren't on videotape. My thing is, does it even matter if it's on video at this point? Because back in the 90s and 92, Rodney King's alleged uh, police officers that beat him, they weren't convicted, and that was on. Hey, Angela, and they were on video as well. Now, he did get a settlement, but the officers, even though they were videoed beating this man, they weren't convicted either. So the only case that I've seen here recently where an officer's been convicted, I think it was in South Carolina or North Carolina, somewhere down that way, where the gentleman had jumped out a late model Mercedes, and I think he had a child support warrant, and he proceeded to run from the cop, and somebody luckily was filming it with their cell phone camera, and he shot the individual, the gentleman, in his back. So that was that's messed up. Um, I will say this: I respect authority. I don't hate police officers, but I will say a few bad police officers can make a whole police department in a city that's not really, really, really big look bad. So I'm hoping that the family gets answers. I'd like to send my condolences out to the Reed family for the loss of their loved one. Um, they had a big vigil on Michigan Road this evening, where they blocked the street off and protested, which is your absolute right to do. Hey, what's going on, Income Ty? Okay, 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 cool. I'll do that. Send it to me if you can, or inbox it to me, or something like that. But at the end of the day, I don't care if you. This is just my stance on it. I get it. When people are younger, a lot of times they have different mentalities. Their mindset's a lot different. I don't want to blame it on his youth because he ran. I don't want to say that. Um, so um, I- if you run, that doesn't mean that you deserve to be shot and killed. I know people a lot of times say that police officers shoot you in the leg or wound you, but they're not trained to do that. They're trained to shoot and kill, and almost every time they shoot and kill an unarmed black man, or I guess, or a black man that they say has a weapon that they possibly displayed, they always kill them. They never shoot them in the leg. So that's just what happens. It was a video of him riding the neighborhood through neighborhoods, shooting a gun carelessly, and that's the reason he ran. Wow, that's so ignorant. Now, again, when he was talking on Facebook Live, it seemed like he was a little high on something, but I don't know that. I'm not going to say that. I mean, I'm not going to say he was or he wasn't, but that's just my opinion. And if he was, if he was doing that uh, through a neighborhood, that's crazy. That's ridiculous. Hey Tracy, what's going on? Sounds like my phone's going off. I'd like to run and turn the ringer off, but I don't know if I'll just leave my live, guys. But yeah, that's would you say those officers ended up serving a little time? Not all of them. The ones that beat Rodney King. If you remember, Bill Clinton sent the U.S. Attorney Generals into to investigate. Okay, that's okay, George. Okay, so that's all why he got shot. Wow. Still, riding through a neighborhood and shooting a gun is the dumbest thing you can do. Um, I don't know. I don't. I wasn't there. I wasn't riding in the car with him. I know that there's always three sides to a story. Um, his side, their side, and the truth. So we just have to sit back and let, I guess, justice do what it does. Again, I don't know what happened. I'm just tired of young black men, or just black men, period, in general, being killed. It just seems like when other people are put in the same position, that they're not killed. Although we have to set ourselves at a different standard because we are black and brown, and that's just the way it is. Unfortunately, at least that's what George said earlier. Um, we just have to set ourselves at a different standard. We have to live a certain way. We have to carry ourselves a certain way. We have to conduct ourselves a certain way. When we're getting pulled over, we cannot flinch. We have to do exactly what the police officers tell us to do. There's a different level of respect you have to um, commandeer when you're being pulled over by a police officer. You don't have to kiss their ass, but you just have to have a different type of respect. Yeah, would you say income? That is crazy. And another thing, I think police stations should be required to release body cam if they have body cam video the day after. Absolutely. And that's the one thing that IPD, I don't think they have body cams all the way yet. And that's crazy because I know that we can afford body cams, and they don't need to be able to cut them off or anything until their shift is over with. It should be turned right into their authority, their higher authority over them. I mean, we need body cams, but again, you can have a body cam, that a person can see you do something, and you may not get convicted of it because you're a cop and we're civilians. And for some reason, civilians are held at a lower standard than a police officer. They just are. And a black man is definitely held at a way lower standard. And I'm sorry, tonight it's not going to be about race, but living as a black man, there are different things that you just have to go through that everybody doesn't go through. So I'm sorry, this is what I'm talking about, and that's what it is. This is what it is. I've been through it myself. Although I respect authority and I know what to do when I get pulled over, I've been harassed before myself. So it's not right. It's just not right. Unfortunately, again, if that young man made that tragic mistake of shooting a gun, then running from the police, these are different things that can get you killed. Although, again, you're not supposed to shoot somebody in the back when they run. So if I didn't hear two gunshots, they said he let off two gunshots at them. All I heard was boom, 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 boom. Before that, I heard a taser, and that's it. And it sound from the video footage, it looks like he was running away. So again, if he did all of these things to uh, cause all these things to happen to him, then that was terrible on his own end. He didn't use his common sense, unfortunately. Unfortunately. Thank you, Tracy. Yeah, I'm just really getting tired of the whole violence thing. I mean, seems like this has been all we've talked about. And believe me, we're going to lighten it up a little bit eventually. But unfortunately, I have to report things that are important to me. Um, I've always liked current events. And so when something's going on, I have to speak on it, especially when, I have sons around that age group. So I have boys that are older than 21, but then I have a 14-year-old son. So I have to teach him how to be pulled over by a cop. I have to teach him what not to do, what to say, what not to say. Don't ask any questions. Let them do their job. Hey, Gwendolyn, how are you? And yeah, I mean, so uh, I found out a little bit more information about the young man that was killed down in Georgia, which was terrible. Looks like there was a case of vigilanteism that went on with the father and son. I guess the father used to be a police officer, and the young man was jogging. And from what I was watching, is that he would love to run. He was an avid jogger. He ran around Georgia, his neighborhoods and stuff like that. When he wasn't working or going to school, he was running and jogging, and that's just it. What'd you say? That's true. I'm 20, and I know I'm. Would you say income? That's true. I'm 20, and I know just from watching the news, you have to comply and not talk back. And running, you just get that's right. That you know what, man? You listen to an OG like me, and I won't steer you wrong. I promise. George is an OG. And again, I appreciate you coming in the chat, man. Thank you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to your friends. Yeah, man, just do what they tell you to do. Hands on the steering wheel. Don't move. Don't flinch. You never have to ask them what they pulled you over for. That's the one thing that I try to tell a lot of people. Here's the thing about a police stop or traffic stop. You want the traffic stop over as quick as possible. The longer it drags out, the more susceptible you are to going to jail. The quicker the police stop is over, the more likely you'll go home. And that's just the way it is. You want it to be over as quick as possible. When you get pulled over and they walk up to your car, they're trying to see what your attention is. They want to see. I'm sorry. They want to see your personality. They want to see what you're going through. What's your I'm sorry, my mind's kind of going blank right now. I'm sorry, I do apologize. But they want to see what your that's it, temperament. They want to see what your temperament is. They want to see if you're angry, if you're aggressive. Because here's the thing, cops are already aggressive. So we don't have to give them a reason to buck up with us because they're going to win at the end of the day. They hold the gun, the badge, and at the end of the day, they can be the judge and jury. So do what they tell you to do. I just do what they ask me to do. I don't um, ask any questions. Normally, their procedure is they're supposed to tell you why they pulled you over. And a lot of times people want to ask them why they pulled you over. Let the cops do their job. Even if they're assholes, excuse my French, let them do their job. Just let them do it. Would you say, George? What about people in the community he was shooting in, and they probably was scared when he was shooting randomly. I bet they felt different about him getting killed. Yeah. Um, it's a, I've been hearing a lot of different things. I mean, like, so earlier I was listening to Tina Cosby on 1310 The Light or 92.7 The Light. And she was saying, so nobody's protesting about the 8-year old little boy that was shot eating dinner where a stray bullet went through his home. Um, nobody's protesting about that. Nobody's protesting about the young lady, the little girl, teenager, 16, that was shot in the face riding in the backseat of her mom's Chrysler 300 um, on the east side of Indianapolis. But I guess they're saying that, but you're talking about a man that was running from the police, which would still, again, doesn't mean that he was supposed to be shot and killed because he ran from the police. So it's just a whole messed up situation. Whatever cop shot him, that's on his conscience if he has one. And the young man that was killed, Sean Reed, now he's gone and his family's hurting and mourning. So this is just messed up. This is just the whole situation is messed up. I'm tired of the violence. I wish people could sit down, be on quarantine until your city opens up, go about your regular business and stop doing dumb shit. I'm sorry, it's stupid. Stop it. It's just dumb. We got too much to live for out here. It's getting ready to be summertime. We've had the winter, I guess, wasn't so bad in Indy, but we're looking forward to some heat. We don't have Black Expo this year. Um, we don't have a lot going on for African American people or Black people to do, but we don't need to be gathering and shooting one another or, um, just wilding out, riding through neighborhoods, shooting. If that's again allegedly, it's just dumb. What are your thoughts? What do you feel? What do you think about it? Do you feel like even and then here's the other thing. I believe that a black officer shot and killed him. So, in this case, I don't know. I don't know what to say. We'll just have to sit back and see what happens. But normally this isn't the case. Normally it's a white cop that shoots a black man. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm only speaking on what I've seen and the video that was sent to me. I'm just going on what I saw, and this is only my opinion. Again, I respect authority. I don't have anything against authority. I just don't like when they push up on us and do, excuse me, what they want to do to us because we're civilians. It's just not fair. I get it, but here's the thing: we pay their taxes. And I think a lot of times they forget that. We pay their taxes. They're supposed to protect and serve us. And that's not what happens. A lot of times they're around when we don't need them. I don't know what if this is going to continue. I get it. When you run, you bring up an aggression in an officer that can't be explained. I heard something years ago about a different California highway police officers that when somebody runs from them, they get it's called chasing cop syndrome or something to that effect. Like it changes their personality, almost like they're hunting you down like prey because you ran from them. And in their mind, they snap and they just want to get you and attack you when they catch you. So I don't know. I don't know. What'd you say, Angela? It had been a young black man in this time, but young men being some of this on their self okay, being brought. Okay, you didn't do it right, Angela, but that's okay. I'm gonna get through it. Young man being some of this on their self too. That's true. Different time. My son has had cop pull a gun out on him every time he did. And that's crazy. Nobody should be pulling a gun out on a teenager or a young man for nothing. When I was I think when I was about 21 or 22, I can remember a few incidents that I had with apartment police officers or security cops. So pulling guns out on me because I didn't have the address that I was going to correctly or something like that. So But I was a young kid, and I wasn't aggressive. My temper was a lot different though. But I didn't. Luckily, I wasn't shot and killed because if I would have made the wrong move, I mean, that could have possibly happened. I mean, this is just I don't know, man. Enough's enough's enough. It's hard. This is hard. We're losing our black youth at an alarming rate. Normally, they're killing each other, and I always like to say the age group is from 13 to 25. Who's doing all the crime? No older people are doing anything anymore. It's all young people, unfortunately. They're lost. They don't have anything to do. They don't have anywhere to hang out, and nothing positive to do. Um, I don't know. I don't know. What can we do as adults? What can we do to help the youth, the black, white, Latino, whoever, to prevent this from happening again? What can we do? Would you say, George, personally, if what is being said about him is true, shooting just for heck of it, then I have no empathy for him, but I do have empathy for the young boy and the teenage girl. Okay, George, and that's your opinion, man. I mean, that's what I'm here for, and that's why we on Lifestyles with Eric love different opinions. We're not going to be mad at you because we don't all agree. Okay. We're not going to be mad at you because you have a different opinion. So you keep, and everybody, I want you to not ever be afraid to express yourself on my channel because, that's what this is all about. And we can all collectively come up with something that I'm sure we could all work with. So my opinion is going to be different from Tracy's, Angela's, and whoever else is in the chat. So yeah, we just gotta. I don't know. I don't know. I have I have empathy for his family. He's gone now. Whatever decisions he decided to make, he made them on his own. Nobody forced him to do what he did. But again, I still send my condolences out. It's just unfortunate. It is unfortunate that we're losing our young black men like this. I'm baffled by the things I'm hearing on a daily basis. People need to honor those two young lives lost. Absolutely. The young man, the little boy, was sitting in his kitchen eating dinner with his family and was shot and killed. So that is just the crazy. And then we just lost a police officer, young African American lady. So our first. So in Indianapolis. So it's his. Excuse me. This is just nuts. It's nuts. He could have shot a young kid just chilling. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Hey, Shirley, it's very sad. It is. It is. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just it's you know what? This is the world we're living in. Everybody puts everything on video. You video everything, and then sometimes when people do video stuff, they still think that that means that they're going to have proof that somebody did something. But unfortunately, hello, Shirley. But unfortunately, that doesn't mean that they'll always be convicted of something. So, yeah, I mean, it's just it teeter totters on both sides. You just never know how it's going to go. Maybe he was Facebook living himself to I don't know, to be famous, but maybe to prove he wasn't even though he was excuse me even though he was running from the police. He maybe wanted to prove that he wasn't, I don't know, doing anything towards them aggressively. I don't know. Again, like I said, when you run from the police, they automatically change. Their mind changes, and all bets are off. You don't know how it's going to end. This was videotaped. Well, at least audio. Part of it was video, and then you could hear audio. But you just never know how things are going to end when you run from the police. Fortunately, I've never had to go through something like that. I know people that have ran from the police and have survived. And then I know a gentleman that was killed a couple of years ago by IMPD again for fleeing the scene of a police stop, traffic stop, which the officers weren't convicted of anything. And the passenger in his car was a young lady that we never heard anything else from. And I wonder why. I'm sure somebody got to her and said, "You better keep your mouth shut." And that's just my opinion. So I guess the bottom line is, if you can help it, try not to run. I get it. You don't want to go back to jail. You may have a warrant, you may have drugs on you, but I don't know. They want you to comply, but if you don't comply, we may kill you. That's pretty much what they're saying, because that's what they were saying at Aaron Bailey's trial. Pretty much is like, well, if he would have complied, well, people should start complying. Well, people should comply, but then people shouldn't get shot they shouldn't get shot running. Period. And that's just the way it is. That's just my opinion. Life is very priceless. Absolutely, Angela. It is. It really is. And we have to treat it as it's valuable. And a lot of times we just take it so for granted. We really do. Would you say, Gwendolyn, we can talk and talk to these young men, but they will have to make that decision to listen. But we all can pray for the younger generation. And that's what I'm going to keep doing. Again, I still have, I've got um, uh, three children in their 20s. So I try to keep them prayed up as much as possible. Um, I don't know. You just have to teach them and let them go, and hopefully they do the right thing. You can't shelter them the rest of their lives, but you also have to teach your flock what to do before they fly out of the flock. And if you don't teach them what to do, then these are the things that happen. Now, I'm not saying his father and mother didn't teach him, but something went wrong somewhere. Something went wrong. What is wrong with our generation now, the kids now? Um, they want to be on every drug that you can imagine, um, all sorts of pills and liquid heroin and cough syrup and grandma's pills and stuff like that. It just I've never seen anything like this in my life, and I'm glad I'm not too old that I don't understand what's going on. Um, but again, when I just listened to his conversation, it sounded like he was a little high on something. I just wish that he would have thought back before he did what he did and would have made it through. Would you say, D, is there some way for us to take the investigation to the FBI? I don't know. Uh, His I believe his father and his parents or his folks are saying that they want to have something, a separate investigation. Um, I do believe that still this needs to be investigated, but not by the police. I believe that there needs to be a separate investigation so that they can find out what happened. If you all remember, there was a shooting out on the east side a few months ago. Um, and I had heard my this wasn't a rumor. I heard on the radio. I was listening, and the guy said, "Well," and this was in like a big luxury van. It was two black guys. So the guy had said, "Hey, hey, Laturia, Miss Jones." So the guy had said, "Yeah, we got pulled over. My friend did not have a gun, and or let me see, he got out of the car, and the police officer just started shooting him." I mean, it's just I don't know, but we never heard anything else about that. So um, I don't know. It's just this violence just has to stop at some point. What about the people who comply with the officers but still get killed, or the people who are unarmed and get killed? We as Black people can comply with the laws and all day, every day, and still get. You're absolutely right. So what do you do? I'm not going to live in fear. Now I'm still going to comply. I'm still going to do what I'm supposed to do, but I'm not going to live in fear. And I'm just not going to do that. So I think the Castillo young man, last name Castillo, I believe in Minnesota, he was with they were Facebook Live. It was his daughter's mother at Facebook Live, his murder by a police officer while he was in the passenger seat. Um, I remember vividly where they had gotten pulled over. The officer was on his side of the car and had asked him for driver's license, but he wasn't even driving. And then I believe he asked him, "Did he have any weapons?" He said, I do have a weapon. I have a gun permit to carry." And he said, "Okay, well, get your license." And I believe when he reached for his license, he shot and killed him on Facebook Live. That was on Facebook Live as well. So right in front of his daughter too. So it doesn't matter if it's video. You're right, and you can still not get convicted. And this is just, I don't know. And then you got Sandra Bland. It's just different cases, different people. The gentleman in New York that was selling loose cigarettes. I mean, he was choked out on video camera. They murdered him. So again, I have no problem with authority, but enough's enough. What'd you say, George? The FBI can't get involved unless the federal case crosses the state line. Okay, okay. Well, they can get involved if they feel that there's some wrongdoing. They can overpass the state, I believe, or the city. I believe so. Yeah, and they always do D, they always do cover things up. And then you always end up with a gun too. That's the other thing. You always end up with a gun. You gotta have a gun. You have to. If you didn't have one, you're gonna have one when you end up dead. Again, that's just my opinion. They'll always say that you had a gun, and they'll try to pull up any kind of past record you may have had to make you look bad. Just like the Botham John case, the young man that was killed down in Texas, where the Amber Geiger had busted in his apartment and shot and killed him. Didn't do anything wrong, sitting there eating some ice cream, and she had thought he broke in her apartment. Oh, but she kicked his door in and shot and killed him. Oh, then they put some marijuana on him and said that he was selling weed or smoking marijuana. So let's make Eric Gardner, absolutely, George, you're right, in New York. So let's make Botham John look bad. Let's put some weed in here, say he was selling weed. So that's the reason why she busted in his apartment and shot and killed him and thought it was her apartment. I'm sick of the shit. Enough's enough. We need good cops out here because one bad cops make everybody look bad. It makes all the cops look bad. It makes them all look bad. I'm just sick and tired of it. Then you got the young man that killed the people down south in the church. They took him to Burger King. What's that about? He was a white boy. So what's that about? Excuse me, Caucasian young man. But this is just enough's enough. I love all my people. I love everybody, all races, but we get the short end of the stick, and sometimes we bring it on ourselves. I'll say that. I get it. I'm not going to bring it on myself, but sometimes our race brings it on ourselves. But then when we don't bring it on ourselves, we just get killed because we're black and they look at us as prey. Or maybe they're part of a white supremacist group and we don't know it and they're police officers. It's just different things that are happening. And we just have to be focused, aware, and pay attention. And I guess try to do what they tell us to do before we get killed. I don't know. It's crazy. Yeah, Shirley, they're always covering up. Absolutely. What's that, George? What was BS? Thanks, D. I appreciate your subscription. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Like, share, and subscribe. And welcome to the Lifestyles family. I'll be talking about, all sorts of things, not just of course, not just bad things, negative things. I'm a positive thinker, positive person. It's just I like to report things that bother me or that things that are in the news. And this made national news, the young man on Facebook Live. So that's the reason why I'm talking about this tonight. And the past couple of days, I've been talking about some violent things that have happened and just people, in this quarantine or COVID-19 era where we're all kind of stressing and we're all going through a lot and tempers are up and we just need to learn how to deal with each other a little bit better. Be patient. We're going to get through this, um, and we'll make it. It's just we've got to stop this. None, Anyi, none of us are safe. Not in the schools, not in our homes. It doesn't seem like it. I mean, I pack a gun, but you can only have so many guns. It's just I don't know. I'm just not going to live in fear. I'm not going to think that everybody's out to get me. but you have to be aware of your surroundings wherever you go. The money mover, the ATM, the gas station, heck, the grocery store nowadays. You got to be aware. I mean, I was watching YouTube and I saw where a young lady had shot a girl in Walmart. So you've got to be extra careful wherever you go. Extra careful. You never know when you could become a potential victim. But back to running from the police, my service announcement would be don't run from the police because you don't know how it's going to end up. You just don't know how it's going to end up. And unfortunately, if you're an African American, black man or woman, you might be killed. Okay. I've seen it time and time again where other people have been pulled over and they're not killed. They rip tickets up in the police's face and nothing happens. If we did that, we'd be snatched out of the window without the door getting opened. But again, that's just my opinion. Um, we have to be held at a different standard. We have to do things differently. We have to walk on eggshells. We have to make sure that our children know how to get pulled over. We have to explain to them about the things that you say and do when you're pulled over by a police officer or a person of authority. So, if anybody has anything else out there to say, I'm listening. I'm just, I don't know, I'm just tired of people burying kids, you know, because of a dumb mistake or a stupid decision that they made. And a lot of these kids come from good homes. They don't all come from bad homes. A lot of them are taught, but they forget what they were taught when they get in that vehicle and they do whatever the freak they want to do. Gwendolyn asked me, do I think some of the rap songs, I do. I listen to hip hop. I grew up when there wasn't any hip hop. I went through that stage where it was just R&B, rock and roll, and that's it. And then it was kind of gradually coming. So I've seen the transition of hip hop. I've seen a transition of artists and different generations um, with the music. So I would say yes, some of the kids are listening to the music and it is influencing a lot of these children that are not so strong up here and don't understand that it's just music and entertainment and they take it literally. A lot of the songs now talk about robbing drug dealers, robbing the person they get drugs from. Um, and that's cool. In my day, we didn't listen to music like that. Well, people didn't make music like that. We respected each other. We respected one another. Even if somebody sold drugs over here or sold drugs over there or did whatever they did, there was a respect level. Now, younger people don't have respect with each other. RIP. Absolutely. Thanks, Thomas, for coming into my chat. I really appreciate it. Like, share, and subscribe. RIP. Absolutely. I'm not. Listen, I don't have anything against that young man because this was on my heart today to speak on this. Because again, I don't know the full story. I just know what I was sent through my messenger, and I listened. And again, it just didn't seem like the young man had shot at the police officers. I don't know if he shot in the air. Somebody else said that prior, but running from the police and being shot from behind and tased, it's just not, that's not right. And that's what I'm talking about. So rest in heaven, young man. And hope you're an angel. And it's just unfortunate. It's just unfortunate for his family. The cop gets to go home, fortunately, to his family. So this is messed up. Anya, what'd you say? I think there should be classes for us Black people to learn how to speak and conduct and we should teach them ourselves. That's the only thing. I could agree to that to an extent. I believe if we um, teach them ourselves, if that's something we can teach our own people, I don't think they ought to be teaching us anything. I think we should conduct that, civilians, because we know more than anything how we get treated by police officers, or how we're labeled sometimes. I mean, even sometimes the younger people are labeled and they're not criminals. They may have saggy pants or um, whatever the case is, however they dress or their hair or tattoos on their face. But that doesn't always mean that they're a criminal. And that's your opinion. I again, if here's my thing. At the end of the video, if he's running, I think that he would have said, "I got a gun. I got a gun." Everybody, he said, "Come and pick me up on 62nd and Michigan Road." I didn't hear him say, "I got a gun." I heard him say, "I wasn't going back to jail." I did hear him say that, but I heard a taser and then I heard gunshots. I did not see on the video where he was shooting in back of his back at the police while he was running away from the police. So see, being that they didn't know that he was videotaping and recording this, we'll see if this opens up into a big lie. Not what he did prior to before running, but up from the time he was coming up Michigan Road to 62nd and got out and ran. We'll know what really happened maybe one day, maybe we won't. But I'm going to sit back and ponder on this. And if I get some more information on it, I'll um, definitely present it to you all and let you know that I heard some new stuff. And if anybody has any more information that they want to put out here to the public, put it out here and I'll talk about it. This is an open line. We're free to talk about whatever we want to talk about. This is my platform and I respect you and what you say. And if you want to bring up something, I'll talk about it. Okay. It's all good. I'm not judging anybody, not that young man because he's not here anymore. I'd rather him be here in downtown in at the city county building than dead. And that's just my opinion on that one. I'd rather him be here and alive. So yeah, I don't know what else to say, folks. I think if we show respect, we'll get respect. Yeah, to an extent, Gwendolyn, true. A lot of them think respect is sign of weakness. Yeah, that's a whole nother subject. You're right. I agree. I totally agree. Um, they try to act so hard, they meaning the younger people sometimes, that they feel like if you are nice or if you have respect for one another, that you're soft sometimes. That's true. Absolutely. That can totally be true. Yeah, you should be respectful to all people, but not just because a person is wearing a badge. Totally agreed, Mr. George Stewart. I totally agree. Totally agree. That doesn't mean that you deserve the respect that you think you deserve because you have a badge and I am a civilian. I pay your taxes. What happened to Officer Friendly? I remember when police used to come to schools, we weren't afraid of them, we respected them. It's not like that anymore. Little kids don't like police officers because they're afraid of them, because they come off brash and arrogant sometimes. And I have uh, police in my family, so all police aren't bad, and I know that. Would you say, George? I feel that I feel that by teach out kids to submit to police 100% away makes them slaves, not like our ancestors, but it takes away our ability to speak freely. Yeah, but you can't say whatever you want to say to a police officer because you could get pulled out of the car and shot and killed. Period. I had an incident when I lived in California, real quick. Okay. Just came back from the club. It was me and a couple of my buddies. Okay. I was a designated driver. Um, I was drinking water the whole night at the club. They were drinking. I think I cut somebody off on accident. I was lost. I was living in San Diego. I just moved out there. A cop was following me for a little ways. He pulled me over on the highway, and it gets chilly at nighttime out in San Diego. So here's the deal. He pulled me over. License registration, yes sir, no sir. Have you been drinking? No sir. Are you sure? No sir. I'm a designated driver, just water, sir. Why do you have Indiana plates, sir? I just moved out here, sir. Pulled me out of the car, had me standing out in San Diego, let's say no jacket, no coat, and it was probably about 50 degrees, 45 degrees. It was chilly. And he had me standing outside for about 45 minutes. So, hey, Tracy. So I believe that he had me standing outside, and he sat in his car, mind you, running everything. So I believe he had me sitting outside that long to intimidate me or to break me basically. He wanted to see if I would go off or be irate because he had made me sit outside freezing for 45 minutes before he could get out of his vehicle and hand me my driver's license and tell me to have a good day and get my license plates eventually. When he could have set me in his passenger seat in a warm car while he ran everything, that wouldn't have been a problem at all. So again, you just have to know how to conduct yourselves at some point. And if that doesn't work for you, I don't know what to tell you. I'm honestly, I don't. Would you say, Gwendolyn? I was raised in one of the hardest cities in New Orleans. It's just reminding me of those times. So this nothing to me. You're right. The Capio projects, where Master P and a lot of other rappers talk about a lot of times. They said that, I mean, at one time that was the murder capital of the world. I mean, the murder capital of the United States. So yeah, Gary, Indiana, Louisiana, New Orleans. Yes, I get it. So sometimes people really haven't seen a bad side of town until they go to these other states and cities. So I totally understand, Gwendolyn. Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, let's try to stop the violence out here. Let's do the best we can to stop the violence. Let's teach our kids, our nephews, our whatever young person we can encounter. Let's try to help them get through life without getting killed before they're 30 years old, 25, 21, like Sean Reed. Let's get them through. Let's get them through because this is ridiculous and I'm sick of it. I am sick of our young people dying. Enough's enough. So, on that note, I'm going to get with you guys in a day or so, probably tomorrow. We'll do a quarantine Friday, see what everybody's doing. I really appreciate you coming in this evening and listening to me and chatting with me. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to Lifestyles with Eric. Um, tell your friends, tell everybody you know. We're going to be talking about plenty of topics, Hollywood gossip, whatever we can come up with. Whatever's going on, whatever you think is news, we're going to talk about it. Okay. And I'm still going to do those cooking videos. And I know I've been promising and promising, and I promise I'm going to get those out here. Um, so again, I appreciate you coming into my chat. Thanks again. Like, share, and subscribe, and keep it positive. Love everybody. Help your fellow man and pay it forward, everybody. We're going to get through this. Uh, we're going to get through this. That's all I can say. We'll make it. Be patient with your family. Hug them. Give everybody a hug because I think a lot of these people just need a hug sometimes. So yes, I promise. I got you. Cooking's coming. I got you. Okay. All righty. Okay. All right. You guys have a good night. It's been real. Like, share, and subscribe. You've been with Lifestyles with Eric. Take care. All righty. Bye bye.